Wasn't that like from that movie, Forrest Gump? What was
Life is like a box of chocolates,
life
right?
is like a box.
You get what you get and you don't get upset. Isn't that what he said?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just remember that one line. I'll tell you what, but for some reason we're being tested.
We are being fucked with and tested. And I don't think Mercury's in retrograde, but that's what it feels like, folks.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we just came out of a brutal production meeting. Tempers were. I don't know why everybody's getting so hostile. I mean, it's a relaxing show. It's entertaining. It's elevating. It's educating.
Yeah.
And for some reason, tensions are high.
Except for with Bones. Bones has had the stiff upper lip, you know,
He never
and
changes that expression.
he's really maintained an elevation above the fray.
Yeah.
Very good, Bones. Very good. Very good. Excellent, Bones.
I'm not even enthusiastically clapping for Bones today. You know,
Oh,
matter of fact,
come
I might
on.
take Bones and just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take Bones and I'm gonna get out of here and I'm just gonna throw. You know what? Either he's gonna call. Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Sun's a little more. Now you got to, right about there. Yeah. All right, so it's been that kind of production.
Now we
meeting.
got to put that to that song. Somebody.
Yeah. So,
The Shrek song.
yeah. So that's what happens when you get in these meetings and people want to twist. Where you go? What happened? Are the police here already?
There we go.
Where's the back door to this place anyway? In case I got it.
It's through the bathroom.
That's right, the fire escape. All right, yeah.
You know what's going to happen, don't you?
What?
We're going to get phone calls and emails.
Hurting
You
the
know,
skeleton preservation. Society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes you just gotta, go to the mattresses. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes you just gotta. I actually feel better now. You know, I mean, I feel better. We don't condone that.
No.
That's how you handle things. But
No,
at some point,
we
How
don't.
much can a man take, or woman? I mean, have you hit your point? John? Have you hit that boiling point sometimes in life? I mean, how much can you take? I mean, that's a great topic for this episode. When
It is a great topic for this episode. Just giving you a little bit more space over here. Fill up, D'Angelo.
See, when you throw people around, you start getting a little more respect. See? A little more respect.
Right.
But I mean, like, when is enough enough? Now, I've been in situations where somebody's testing you, whether it be a relationship,
Yeah.
whether it be your boss, a coworker. I mean, when is enough enough? And what do? Go home, complain to your friends, your family. Nobody wants to hear you complain, right? So maybe you just have to handle it the way you got to handle it. Maybe at 61, that's the way we handle things. I don't know. What do you
When
think?
is enough enough? Well, do you want to delve into that? You want to do
let's
wanna
go
do
for it.
We'll
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
countdown.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. See, now I'm so fired up now. Okay. You ready?
Boy, Bones triggered you, and he didn't say a word.
Well, unfortunately, he was the victim of the production meeting.
He was the victim of just being too close to you.
Yeah, like, he's making me nervous. I had an uncle, God bless, I love that Uncle Jim. If you're up there in heaven, he may be down below, because he was, he was a great guy. But he always just say, this guy's making me nervous. This guy's making me nervous. Anytime we went to a diner, shout out to the Lyndhurst Diner. I mean, that was his favorite spot. I would take him there up until his last year on the
really?
planet. Yeah,
Wow.
the LD. And, he'd make me nervous. So Bones over my shoulder, I felt claustrophobic, I need room. I need space. I got to do that. So let's have a countdown.
Go ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Jersey Alchemist. And I'm your host, Dr. John Gerard Gallucci.
A very calming force. Thank you, Dr. John, for calming me down. And I'm Philip D'Angelo.
And Bones was here.
He's laying down.
But
right
if
now.
you tuned in before the countdown, Bones took an early flight.
Yeah, he took a little trip, but that's all right. Like Arnold did in that movie. Remember, he killed the guy in the airplane, and he
Oh,
goes,
yeah, yeah,
"Don't
yeah.
mind my friend. He's dead tired." So Bones is a little tired right now.
Yeah, Bones is tired.
John,
Bones taking a nap on the couch.
when is enough enough? At what point do you stand up to the bully? At what point do you say, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going
And
to
I'm
take
not
it
going to
anymore"?
take it anymore.
Please. There had to be situations in your life. I mean, I had a coworker in the job I'm currently at who snaked me every chance he could get. And I knew a side of him that nobody else knew. Like the bosses, everybody else. Oh, he's this great guy. But yet when it came to me and him and interacting with customers and clients, he would throw me under the bus, jab me, talk bad about me behind my back. But I found out about it until one day I confronted him. You know, like a man, old school, face to face at my advanced age. And, we settled the score. Needless to say, he never bothered me again.
Right.
I had to go to the principal's office, though. I had to sit down with the boss and explain myself. So that's what I did.
I think everybody experiences that differently, and I think it's probably a detriment if you get pushed and triggered beyond your capacity, and you act out, and for some reason the universe seems to reward you for acting out. If you act out in an unbecoming way that lowers yourself to the person that was basically your assailant, right? Or your scoffer, your ridiculer, because we all know that they're all around. You lower yourself, and the world, or the universe rewards you for your actions. Now you got that button close by, kind of like the beep button. And it might be the reaction button. It might be the violence button. It might be something where you're going to start doing things that to your supervisors, to your lords and masters, they're going to say, you know what? He did this once. We let him get away with it. He did it twice. He's out of here. He's out of here. And I think being rewarded for a hot reaction isn't great. And why do I say that? Because I'm my own victim. And I admit it. I am absolutely, ever since I was a kid, I was a hot reactor. It's probably the Latino genes that are within us. Certain people are stereotyped for hot reacting and others are not. So I think what I've developed over decades of being in high pressure zones.
You can't get more pressured than the zone you were in.
Academic zones, medical surgical zones, and those zones were full of assailants and ridiculers and scoffers and cutthroats, just packed from pre-med, pre-med studies in college to dental school, full of backstabbers, medical school, the same thing. All the way, even in my residency, I found that to be true. And then the last thing I expected was that when you become an attending and you have a relatively lofty position, that the people that know you well, that laugh with you, that you get invited to their house for dinner and you drink with them and all of that stuff, and your kids play with each other, and they're digging it into you. And so what I've developed over the years, like I said on the previous episode, I got my little notebook out and I take the license plate, the year, make, and model number of the vehicle that ran me over, and you put it into your computer bank and you go, well, okay. Now, if I allow myself to be put in a vulnerable position with that same make and model number that ran me over last time, whose fault is that? It's probably my fault. What's the expression? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Sure. So those people are all over the place, and I've developed a much more comported device or tool I mark it well who's messing with me. And when they least expect it, usually when we're alone chatting in an office, I'll bring it up to them. I will bring it up to them. And it's funny. It usually worked for me. And I've made my point abundantly clear in a calm, comported fashion, not in a showy way where bystanders are looking, because that lowers you. You fall down off the ladder, and but yeah, look, part of being a human being is to face and deal with people who just want to try to humiliate you and denigrate you and knock you off what they think are your pegs. And that's getting back to the previous or a previous episode about, none are so empty as those who are full of themselves. And it's not that we're looking to repeat, but you know what? It seems to be that energy is still here. I mean, you know what? You tossed Bones across the room. He's on the couch. Poor Bones. Yeah. But I got to admit, he was talking about you behind your back the other day.
Let's see what he does next. So
see, that's the next part. I did that on purpose, right? You're going to find the real cutthroat people are the ones that start like this. They go, hey, look, I've got to tell you something. It's really important. You're going to want to hear this. And now you're like, what the fuck? Okay, and you're leaning in, you're making sure the door is closed, and the person says, yeah, you need to know this. And then the next thing they say is, but don't tell anybody I told you. That's the hallmark of a sociopath with narcissistic tendencies, as far as I'm concerned. And you got to be careful, because all they really want to do, they're not trying to help you. They're trying to make you think that they're helping you, but they got that tin of charcoal fluid lighter for the barbecue or kerosene.
Yeah, it's all it takes. Yeah.
And they're going all around your feet. That's right. Yeah. And the next thing you know, they struck the match, and now they're tossing it. And they're running as you're burning, and inside they're laughing at you. So anybody approaches you with, you have got to hear this. Somebody was speaking about you. You got to hear this. Close that door. Now you're gripped. But don't tell anybody. There's your assailant. There's your Brutus. That's the one. Because you don't know if what he's going to tell you is the truth. There's a good chance that it's either embellished or not true at all.
So, all right, John. So in the workplace, it's probably a good idea. Have a conversation with somebody. Let somebody know that you know what's up. You know what's going on. So give somebody like a warning shot. Say, hey, please, I'd appreciate it. Like gentlemen. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how about in relationships with our significant others? I mean, how long do you go with absorbing something that you don't agree with your significant other and bring it up to them?
Yeah.
Or do you just do what I did with, well, no, you don't do that, but you just get really upset. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, Kathy, get over here. I got to show you something. Boom.
Hey,
front
Alex,
kick down the steps.
No,
God forbid.
No.
Don't do that.
No. But I'm like, before you at least express how you're feeling. Like, sometimes you let something go once, you let something go twice. All right, it's no big deal.
But okay,
By the fourth or fifth time.
Let me jump in here, okay? So, I think how we're gonna try to open that can of worms, right? How many times have you been in the position where your girlfriend or your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever your significant other may be, just as long as it's not a fucking chimpanzee, you're okay, all right?
Chimps need love too, John.
Yeah, koalas, don't be spending time with koalas, nothing like that, right? But what if they said to you, "Oh, I'm cooking tonight and you're going to love what I make for you, for us." Okay, and you're all excited, you're at work, can't wait to get home. All right. You're a little bit worried, because you kind of know that they're not the chef of the future. And you get home and they make some attempt at something that they think in their head that you're going to love, and it fucking sucks. It's offensive to the nose, it's offensive to the eye, and it's offensive to the palate. And you thank them, you dig in. Now what do you do? My father, a long time ago, God bless my mom and dad, they're both on the other side, they're both deceased. He said to me back in the 40s that my mother was so proud of herself that she was going to make my dad pancakes on a Sunday morning. This is before they were married. So he was invited over to the house.
You mean he didn't sleep over the night before? It didn't happen back then.
No way.
No
right?
way.
And my mother basically made roofing shingles. And my father said that they were completely inedible.
Wow.
They were unpalatable. There was no way. But of course he said, "Oh, Kathy, these were terrific."
Best I've ever had.
And he said it was the biggest mistake he ever made in his life, because then she was thrilled. And every Sunday he had to suffer through the roofing shingles. Yeah. So okay. So, but really, the reason why I backed around and came at it that way is because now you're faced with an issue that you find intolerable. But there's something blocking you because you don't want to be the heavy. You don't want to play the villain in this little scenario. And so now you got to make a decision. You're either going to clam up,
accept your fate,
and you're going to accept by default your shitty fate, and you're going to be stuck eating the roofing shingles that your wife or girlfriend thinks are pancakes in the morning. So which is worse? Which is worse? And probably the worst end of the deal here is to suffer through the roofing shingles and have your significant other think that you actually like them, because then you're just potentiating her cooking something that's just horrible. And that's not good for anyone. But to bring it up to speed and to massage it up, how many times in our lives have we decided, I can't take this anymore? I can't take this much longer. I am done with this crap. And if it's something that, I think it's all about, and it could be its own episode, boundaries. So many people don't know how to put up boundaries. And I find that a true narcissist, without sounding like Dr. Romney, lecturing about narcissists, but narcissists seem to be experts at putting up boundaries. They will sledgehammer your face if you cross what they set up as their boundaries, but you are supposed to have no boundaries for them to deal with. And then we get a trauma bond going on where we're the victim and we're constantly being sledgehammered by a narcissist. For some reason, we just can't break free, and we think we're going to change the narcissist. Now, narcissist aside, whoever it is, it's the boss at work, it's the associate at work, it's one of your kids, it's your significant other, it's your spouse, it's your next door neighbor who decides he's going to start cutting trees down, and when the branches fall, it destroys your fence. And he acts like it was an act of God, like he had nothing to do with it. Then what do? You can't take it anymore. I would say, against our grain, we don't want to be the heavy. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to know your boundaries. And when that boundary is breached, you need to say something. That's what I think. As difficult as it is.
Yes, 100%. Or, well, let's go down the ladder first, because the first people that came to mind were people at work that push you because they feel they can. They're not. It's not like really an intimate setting. Then it was relationships, people that you're involved with on the outside. Okay, but now you touched on it, John. Let's go to kids. About how a kid, a child, a son or daughter, sons or daughters, plural, will push your boundaries and get away, because we did it as kids. We try and get away with as much as we can, and we keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, our parents' generation, they didn't put up with anything. There were no, it was like one and done. You'll never do that again, or you're outside, or you're going to get the belt, whatever the situation was.
The belt, oh God,
but
the belt.
I know me as a father, you try not to be that severe. You let things go. And sometimes, John, I'd like to know your opinion. By the time you let it go too much, then it's too late. Then you have a child who feels entitled to do whatever and say whatever they want.
Right.
Unacceptable.
No, and I think that there are gradations of issues. You got a kid like, the furthest I think I pushed provoking my dad, because, a household always runs more smoothly when there is kind of an omnipresent dictatorial power. I hate to say that, but it's true. Now, my mother was the best support crew for my dad, but my dad was the one who had the bottom line, end all say on everything, which is why on a previous episode about me having pork chops in my pockets as a small kid in school, I just couldn't stand eating my mother's pork chops or peas. So in order to get back at them, I cleaned my dish of the peas and stuffed them into my mouth. I stuck the pork chops in my pockets. And I went upstairs. Thank God nobody was in the bathroom. And I spit all the peas into the toilet, flushed them down, and left the pork chops in my pockets. And they were still there the next day when I went to school. And I got embarrassed at the water fountain when my teacher saw me pull pork chops out of my pockets. And what did she do? She called my mother. And my mother told my dad. So I got fucked anyway. And now I got double fucked because I made a big move against my dad's dictum that you will not leave that table until you finish your food. Who do you think you are? And that's exactly how we used to see it.
Yeah. So at what point do you I think with kids, the way our parents raised us and their parents, get right to the jump. Maybe that's the way it should be with everybody, John, with our significant others. And with our people at work, the second something is wrong, I think you have to stand up right then and say it.
You have to step up. And what I meant by there are gradations of issues. Okay, little Johnny loathed putting his mother's canned peas in his mouth. Forget about chewing and swallowing them. Bleh. And he hated her pork chops. But I never really let it become anything other than anything higher or greater than that. I used to talk to my dad about it, and he would talk to me. So we didn't really have big issues. But as a father, what if one of my daughters came home with a boyfriend that I knew had horrible, horrible issues?
Oh, boy.
Now what do you do? Now what do you do before she tiptoes up to you teary-eyed and says, I don't know what to do. I didn't mean for this to happen. I'm pregnant. If you couldn't understand me, I'm pregnant. Yeah. Now what do you do? Because you tolerated the scumbag boyfriend for too long. Now what do you do?
Yeah. That's a very situation, because sometimes with kids, John, when you say no, that just makes them even more go to whatever they're...
Well, it's like one of my daughters, I told the story before, where she was going to spend the day with her boyfriend, like about an hour north of where her mom and I were living. And her mom and I were divorced, and the mother said to me, don't worry, I have a tracking device on her cell phone. I know her GPS, blah, 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 and we'll follow her wherever she goes. But my daughter was in that sense, her mother's daughter. I didn't say she was her father's daughter. She is. But I would not have been so devious to say, guess what? Fuck mom. I'm going to go into my cell phone and turn off my GPS tracking device. But that's exactly what my daughter did. So she spent the entire day in a reservoir skinny dipping with her boyfriend.
Do you? Good time. What? How do you know Mom wasn't in on it with the daughter?
She wasn't in on
Are
it.
you
She
sure?
was pissed. We were both like, how dare you?
Because you remember that movie Taken with Liam Neeson? Taken?
I didn't see it.
Oh, it was an amazing movie. And the daughter gave Liam Neeson, the retired Secret Service agent who can like kill 90 people with his bare hands.
Sure he can. Yeah, right.
And the story that she was going to Europe, to France, with her girlfriend's family, and but it was really just her and her girlfriend going. And once they got there, they were taken. They were kidnapped by some underworld. Some
So she
unsavory character.
conveniently lied to Dad to call off the dogs.
And the wife and the mother.
And the mother.
The mother also lied as well.
Oh, the mother lied with
Yeah,
the daughter.
the mother and the daughter
just
were
to
in on
just
it.
to put the were they divorced the parents?
Yes, of course.
Oh, well,
they were
there you
divorced,
go.
yeah.
There
And,
you go.
You know, and of course, he was painted as a big dad. You're never big bad. You're never any fun dad. Boy, like I haven't heard that 100 times.
Never any fun dad, and he was the quite capable intelligence operative who could kill a population with just a glance and all of that stuff.
On the phone call, he said he's acquired a certain set of skills. That's what he told the kidnappers. Yeah,
Right.
and
Certain
he
set of
used them. I love
skills.
that movie.
I'll have to watch it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you bring it back to the center? What do you do when you're faced with a situation that's come up over and over again, and you're just no longer going to take the shit? Your capacity to eat shit and swallow it has been exceeded. What do? You have no choice, really, no good choice, other than to stand your ground, point to your borders and your boundaries, not just for yourself, but for others. And then you have to, before you make your counter, you have to anticipate that this could be the end of the relationship, because a lot of times there are a lot of people out there, the only reason why they want you in their midst is to lift their leg and piss on you or shit in your face. You like that language? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, Alfie. They will piss and they will shit in your
I
face.
don't remember those lyrics, but I love the way you sang them.
I copyrighted those lyrics.
Of course you did. Thank you.
Archangel Michael, help.
Yeah. So, John, I think the bottom line is, and this is something my father used to say, ultimately you have to look at the man or woman in the mirror. So you have to look in the mirror at yourself, say, how much am I going to take? Am I going to let this go on, or am I going to do something about it? You at least have to express how you feel. Don't sit there, like you used to like to say, a marshmallow, and just take it. You have to let the opposition, if you want to consider them opposition, you have to let them know where you stand immediately. Otherwise, accept the consequences.
You're pumping up the pressure in the volcano unless you deal with the issue. Now, let's say you've, at least in your mind, you've raised the issue every Sunday afternoon for 3 months, and it's still happening. Well, you should long ago have outlined and highlighted your boundaries. And if the person is still breaching the boundaries, really, regardless of who they are, you got to say, well, is this relationship worth it? And you know, you're really stuck. The only time you're really stuck, really stuck, is when it's one of your children. Because the universe gave you your kids. That's it. What are you going to do? Half of their genetics are yours, and they're never not going to be your offspring. Even if they leave and say, fuck off, and I'm going, with a stick and a kerchief packed, and I'm going to hitchhike to California from Jersey, and I'm never going to see you again. No matter what, they're still your kid. Your spouses come and go like changing fucking underwear. Sorry, gang, that's just the truth. Statistically, it's somewhere around 50%. Let's hear it from the beanheads out there that'll say, no, according to the recent statistics, no, it's 46% first time, and on second time marriages, it's really 80%. Fuck you. It's 50% in that area, okay? So what are you going to do? Spouses come and go. Significant others come and go. Don't attach yourself to another person in this game of duality so that you're suffering. You know, there was an old war movie from, I think, the late 60s, and I think it was called No Man is an Island. It's like the World War II era. What a great movie. But, you know, in some respects, okay, no man or no woman is an island, because we are all ultimately connected. But if things are that bad, you better learn how to be an island, at least long enough to expunge the other person from your energy field. Otherwise, God forbid, you know, somebody with poor control is going to do something to get themselves thrown in jail. Wow. God forbid.
Well said. John, if you had to alchemize this brutal episode on...
It's a brutal episode. Yeah.
All right, we're a little tense today, but I feel better now that we expressed it. See? Expression. If you had to alchemize this episode, my friend, how would you do it?
Well, if you physically assail someone, I think you have to apologize. So...
I'm not sure he's up yet. They're still working.
I'm not sure he's conscious.
Yeah. They're still working on him over there. Yeah. And there's one police officer, so I'm sure I'll have to fill out some kind of report.
Oh my gosh!
You may have to be a witness, John, that he provoked me.
You just better hope to God.
Do the right thing.
You better hope to God that police officer didn't come here on a motorcycle and he's got a skull and bones tattoo. Because if he does, you're fucked, because he's part of that. He's part of that construct.
Be the first time.
We're going to alchemize this brutal episode. Okay. If the essential premise is to be here in service to others and not yourself, and while you're servicing others with your heart, somebody is pushing you and ridiculing you and scoffing at you and just kicking your ass over and over and over again, it is incumbent upon you as the recipient to define your boundaries. And then at that point, I think you really see, now you're trying to be an island, in a sense, and what you really have to do, because you're under siege, you're being attacked, and it's over and over and over again. I think this is where prayer and meditation is essential. Why? Because the greatest power in the universe is the one living God, the magnanimous creator, who is love energy itself. And you have to connect with Source and say, Holy Lord, help me define myself so that I know what my boundaries are. I can't be a circus tent when I really want to be a holy temple. Right. So you got to pray, you got to meditate, get in touch with our Source. And then after you do that, and it becomes clear what your boundaries are, and you've made it crystal clear to those that are trying to foul you where the boundaries are. If they can't, I hate the word mitigate, sounds like Tony Fauci, but if they can't stop, if they can't back off, if nothing you've done or said, not even through prayer and meditation, gets them to back off, then you need to walk away. You need to walk away from now you have to consider that person or that circumstance noxious stimuli. What is noxious stimuli? Anything that is foul and hurts you or degrades you or cuts you or scrapes you. That's noxious stimuli. Avoid noxious stimulation, and that includes the people that are in your life. That's it.
Well, John,
Amen.
Well said, John. Thank you for a fabulous episode.
Yeah.
And thank you for letting us vent, or me vent. I feel much better now.
And taking it out on Bones.
So the therapy session. I'll be right there, producer. We'll settle this
Oh,
once
man,
and for
I
all.
tell you, you're really going to have to apologize.
Yeah. Thank
You're
you
going to
for
have to
watching.
buy him dinner.
Yeah, again. Thank you for watching the Jersey Alchemist. You like what we're doing? Like, follow, and
Subscribe
share.
and share.
Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
See you guys.